Gotcha.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another Monster Hunter World video. This is Thegameconomist, and today we're going to be talking about the Legia Shattercryst heavy bowgun. This is a Pierce ammo level 3 heavy bowgun. We're going to go into detail about the attributes on the weapon, how you should probably be building it, and how you should kind of think about it as well. Let's go ahead and get started. So this is a Rarity 8 heavy bowgun. It gets a lot of competition from the Turret Assault Support and the Empress Cannon Sticks. Both of those other bowguns are going to do a better job at Pierce ammo level 3. In fact, the only reason we care about the Legia Shattercryst is because we have our friends on the PC right now who don't have those other guns, so their best option is going to be the Legia Shattercryst for a while. In fact, even when Kulve Taroth does come out, you pretty much have to get lucky to get the Turret Assault Support to drop, so you might be using Legia Shattercryst Pierce ammo level 3 build for quite a while, and that's why I'm going to go into detail about what I think is an optimized build for the Legia Shattercryst. Looking at the attributes, one of my main criticisms for this gun is that the raw attack value is pretty low. You can see it's only 255, and it doesn't even come with positive affinity. I mean, it's 0%, which is obviously better than negative affinity, but I would have liked for this gun to have positive affinity. That would have been nice. It does come with the small decoration slot. The deviation is none, right? And I feel like it gives it a very cool effect, a very cool feeling, right? When you're chilling back and you're just spamming Pierce ammo level 3, you're like, wow, no deviation. You feel like you're shooting a laser beam. But it's a weak laser beam, guys. I would rather have high deviation and a high attack value rather than a low attack value and no deviation. That's because the player learns to aim with the deviation, right? So, you know, you can say it's nice, but to me it's not as important as if this gun had just dealt more damage. For the custom mods, I'm recommending 1 recoil suppressor and 2 ranged attack up mods. You know, if you're fighting something like Black Diablos or Diablos, which is going to be one of the monsters I recommend using this gun against, you're probably going to want to use a shield mod. So you'll give up one of the ranged attack mods and you'll put a shield mod on instead, and that's going to allow you to block pretty much all of Diablos and Black Diablos' strongest, most dangerous moves. Taking a look at the ammo types on the Legia Shattercryst, I already explained this is basically going to be a level 3 pierced ammo bowgun, but you know, the other notable things is that you have level 2 cluster bombs. I would use those when the monster goes down, and you're going to have sleep ammo as well. The sleep ammo level 2 has high recoil and really slow reload, so I would just try to put the monster to sleep using the sleep ammo level 1 and only go for 1 sleep, right? Like, don't go for 2. It's going to take forever if you do that, right? So if you use it at all, just go for 1 sleep. It also has flaming ammo and freeze ammo, which, you know, considering the build I put together, you can actually use those if you want. The freeze ammo is going to be good against Black Diablos and Diablos, but the problem here is you might as well use the level 3 Pierce ammo at that case, because I feel like that's actually going to do better damage. You hold a larger clip, and the build's all put together for that. And the flaming ammo is going to be good against Val Hazak and against Kieran, but honestly, if you're going to fight Kieran, I'd rather you use a sticky ammo build or a slice ammo build. For Val Hazak, you can use the flaming ammo against him. It might do just as well as the piercing, especially if you're skilled with the elemental ammo, but even in that case, I still kind of suspect the piercing ammo is a better option. For the augmentation on this bowgun, I am recommending an affinity augmentation. You don't want to use a health regen augmentation, and that's because pierce ammo doesn't actually regen very much of your health. Neither does the spread ammo, so typically whenever I'm working with those ammo types, I'll either go affinity or, well, yeah, I mostly just go affinity because I pair that with crit boost. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump over to taking a look at the builds. This time, I only have 1 build for you guys. Normally I have 2, a difficult build and an easy build, one that doesn't require a lot of decorations, but a really strange thing happened today where when I compared them in terms of damage, they were essentially the same damage. So I'm going to recommend just this build. It gives you the piercing shots decoration on the coil, so you don't have to worry about that. And yeah, this is my low decorations, my easy build. So a lot of you guys should be able to put this together. Maybe you'll struggle with critical eye. I think that's probably where you'll struggle the most. But notice I have Mind's Eye Ballistic. That's going to allow you to shoot further, and that actually pairs with the ranged attack up mod, right? Or remember when we're talking about customizing the bowguns, I had you put 2 attack ranged up mods on it, right? Well, that pairs with the Mind's Eye Ballistic skill that we're getting from the Rathalos mastery, the set bonus skills, right? So those two pair, and you have to take the waist anyways. The chest gives you 2 levels of weakness exploit, and the helmet is giving you 1 level of crit boost, so it ends up being pretty efficient, except for the leggings. You get jump master from the leggings, but in my mind, I'm thinking of it like you're getting mind's eye ballistic from the leggings, right? That's the 4th piece of the armor set. And again, I compared this to my high damage, my supposed high damage build. They basically did the same damage, so I'm just recommending this one. I think not only is it easier, because you don't have to control the distance between you and the monster as much, thanks to Mind's Eye Ballistic. Not only that, but it's just easier to build anyways, right? So might as well. One thing I want to mention to you guys who are new to using piercing ammo is the weakness exploit skill doesn't work as well with the piercing ammo. See, part of your damage is going to be dealt by the bullet traveling through the monster's body. And what ends up happening is sometimes the bullet's going to travel through a non-weak spot. And when it does that, it doesn't receive any of the benefits of weakness exploit. So if you could have gotten maximum might onto the build, that might have been a little better. However, this is just how it worked out in this case. I feel like if you focus on monster with large weak spots like Diablos, Black Diablos, Basilgeuse, if you focus on those kinds of monsters, you're still mostly going to be getting the benefits of weakness exploit, and then critical eye is going to make it so that you can get a critical hit on a non-weak part of the monster's body. We like to call this static affinity. Static affinity is also given to your weapon when you augment it for affinity, which is again why I recommended an affinity augmentation, assuming you augment this at all. Alright, so what have we done? We've talked about the damage on this bowgun, we've talked about mods, we've talked about augmentations, I've shown you guys a build that I recommend for using the Legia Shattercryst. If you have really good decorations, you could probably tweak it to get a little more damage out of it. When I did it, it wasn't enough damage for me to consider changing it. I actually really favored that ballistics, as I said earlier. So what do we have to talk about now? There's really one more thing that's really important to talk about for this weapon. Who are you going to use it against, right? So I've got a list of targets that you will use this bowgun against, and I really don't recommend using it against anyone else. It's just not good enough. So there's Diablos and Black Diablos. They have nice long bodies. Shoot through their wings as best as you can. You're going to get the most damage on their wings. Then you have Basilgeuse. Basilgeuse will get wrecked by Pierce ammo. You can shoot down Basilgeuse in any direction and deal tons of Pierce damage to Basilgeuse, so he's a terrific target. You also have Uragan and Radoban. Those are probably the last two, except for maybe Xeno'jiiva. Xeno'jiiva has a really long body as well. I just prefer to cluster bomb Xeno'jiiva, and I talk about the best heavy bowgun in the game right now on the PC, the Thegameconomist. I have a video on that if you're curious about that. It's also useful for PC players if you're really struggling with heavy bowguns. You might take a look at that. I'll leave a link in the description in the comment section. But yeah, you can use it against Xeno'jiiva and deal tons of damage because Xeno'jiiva just has this really long body, and if you're shooting down Xeno'jiiva's head, you're going to deal plenty of damage. And that's mostly it for the Legia Shattercryst. It's a Pierce ammo level 3 bowgun that shoots like a laser beam, but in my opinion, it just doesn't deal a lot of damage for you to use it against all monsters. You want to make sure you focus on monsters that are especially weak to Pierce ammo. And eventually, when Kov Taroth comes out and Lunastra comes out, you'll probably be replacing the Legia Shattercryst. Let's go ahead and give it a tier rating. I believe it belongs in the B tier for having a limited number of monsters that it's effective against, as well as for having weapons in the same archetype that tier ahead of it. So B tier for the Legia Shattercryst. And you know, if you're on the PC, it's more like A tier because those other bowguns haven't come out yet. But we know they're going to come out, so I'm officially putting it in the B tier. Alright, well that's everything I had to say. Let me know if you found this guide useful, and let me know what you'd like to see next. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.